My question is New Year's resolutions. Do we have them? Should we have them? How rigid are we in even making these?
My approach has definitely changed. I've had them where they bum me out a month later where I didn't do them, but I've also had a lot of them where I write them down and then kind of forget about them and then look back later and I actually did them.
I think for me, it was very work related. Those were helpful from the standpoint of like, okay, maybe I'm not going to accomplish all that, but I'll accomplish none of it if I don't set my standards really high.
I have a couple really nice cowboy hats that I save for going out nicer places and having a hat to go out. Like you can wear it to like funerals, or you can wear it to, to
this
a nicer
is my
dinner.
funeral hat. This is my dinner hat.
Yeah.
This is my podcast hat.
Yeah.
This is my pickleball hat.
Yes.
Oh, going to take the girls to skateboarding. This is my skateboarding dad hat.
Do you spend a lot of time thinking about which one you're going to wear, other than the funeral hat, which I would assume you just have one of? But like,
no, the funeral, it's just a dark gray cowboy hat that's custom made. So I have two custom made cowboy hats that I like. You choose the crown shape, you choose the brim depth, you choose the brim shape.
Do they burn the edges? I've seen like a whole.
You can if you wanted.
Thing. Yeah,
mine's pretty clean, so it doesn't. Yeah. It has actually like a roll of fabric around the edge, all the way around it. But no, I don't spend a lot of time. The only thing basically that I do is, does the hat kind of match what I'm wearing, and am I going to be on social media 2 posts in a row with the same hat? So like that's literally,
you do have to consider that.
That's literally the only thing I consider.
Crucial.
Yeah.
That's
is like, hilarious. Am I going to be on social media for multiple days in a row with the same hat on? No.
Not going to happen. Not on your watch.
I'm trying, but who knows? Who knows what I wore I don't even remember what we wore last time we spoke. So these could be back-to-back episodes with the same hat, and I could like be totally screwed.
Totally
dude.
screwed.
And our audience will be like, "What a jackass!
What a jerk!"
Yeah. So that's it. That's how I roll with my hats.
And there it is, the hat discussion that every midlife crisis person is going through. Do I wear them? Do I wear them to dinner? Do I not? Do I have a funeral hat, a regular hat, no hat?
If I were going to Bill's, or if I were going to William's,
watch yourself. It will be a funeral,
dinner,
your own.
I would definitely put up a fight for the hat. I don't know how much, but I would be like, I didn't do my hair, and I like my hat, and it's as dressy as anybody else's hair in here, probably dressier than some of these hairs. And then he'd be like, no, not in our house. And I would then look at the mill, decide if it's worth staying.
Acquiesce or get out.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Anybody who out there who's going to be inviting Tyson over for dinner, just be forewarned, there will be hat involved. Legos, come here.
Most probably. I'll take my hat off sometimes in dinner.
I think he's going to follow you.
It's like one of those no shoe houses, you walk in, all the shoes are like at the front door.
Yeah, that's how
you don't
we
have
are.
to. You don't have to question like whether
Shoes
or not
off.
to take off the shoes.
Shoes off, wash hands.
Oh,
that was what kept us as unsick as possible in New York.
Okay.
If you're in a place like New York, you're touching the subway,
touching
you're touching
everything.
rails, you touch everything, and just
True.
so quickly. And so we just kind of got accustomed to shoes off because you're walking everywhere. Yeah. So you're basically where your tires would go. You're on mud and dirt, and down in the subway, who knows what's going on down there. And then if you're watching and not just listening, I'm wrestling my dog right now as my wife and kids leave. Legos, it's all good.
But here's the other thing. Is if I walk in your house and there's shoes off everywhere, but you have a dog and I can see a dog turd under the couch, I'm leaving my shoes on. I'm leaving the shoes on.
You better leave. Leave if there's a dog turd under the couch. Also, how are you getting that vantage point right as you walk in? Getting on your knees and just kneeling, laying down, looking on the ground. It's a Tyson thing, guys. Just let him do his thing.
My grandma, she got a dog to keep her company when she was by herself, and it was a puppy, and it wasn't potty trained. And her house was historically always a shoes off house. Yeah. But when she got this puppy was pissing and dumping everywhere in the house. And so I was like, no, I leave my shoes on in your house now. And I think she questioned me once. She was like, oh, you don't take your shoes off anymore. I was like, yeah, because your dog poops all over. And she's like, okay. And it wasn't like she totally understood. I was just
She was cool with that?
Yeah, I was like, I'm not getting dog poop germs on my socks and then putting them into my shoes. Like, I will burn both of those things and have to sandblast the bottom of my feet. So
that's classic. Classic relationship with grandma. The old Threaten her with a sandblast.
I mean, I didn't say that, but in my mind, I'm like, those are the measures I'd have to take to feel good after the visit. I have no problem sticking up for the things that I have on my body and the reasons that I'm wearing them.
And yet, no tattoo. Still no tattoo.
No, don't care to get a tattoo.
Well, I'm excited to figure out what your question is today because I'm pretty sure it's what are your goals for 2025?
That's it.
And I know that today you're going to say it's get a tattoo. And I'm excited about that. I'm going to preempt my applause for you getting a tattoo in 2025. That's my vote. William, what's your vote? Yes or no?
He's never getting a tattoo.
But he should.
I'm going to talk to you about that right now. But first, welcome to the Midlife Crisisses. Bradley Hasemeyer here. William Drumm also here. You guys want to do quick shout outs real quick before we get into it?
What's up, everybody? Bradley Hasemeyer, Emmy Award winning content creator, host, on camera guy, and podcast host, dad of 3, a foster daughter who's 27, a 4-year-old son who we adopted, my dog who you can hear in the background, and my 11-year-old as well. Living in Atlanta, Georgia, and excited to be chatting with these dudes.
William.
Happy 2025, everybody. Hope you guys had a great holiday and got to see your family and maybe relax at least a little bit.
Or fight with dad over wearing hats inside.
Get in fisticuffs with the old man.
You would never.
Well, maybe if you refuse to take your hat off.
Although I have had neighbors in the past.
It has come close to that before.
No, I saw a father-son fisticuffs at the old neighbors like when I was growing up, and I was like, whoa. It was like the teenage son, full fist fight in the front yard. I was like, this is cool.
Epic.
Yeah, it was epic.
Happy 2025. I'm William Drumm. I'm an underwater photographer, and I've got a 4-year-old daughter. And we haven't done this for a couple weeks, so I'm really excited getting back into it with you guys and see how your holiday was and talk about what we're talking about on this midlife shenanigans.
Yeah, and we're a little ways into 2025 now, past the holiday season. And it is. My question is New Year's resolutions. Do we have them? Should we have them? To what strictness do we hold ourselves to these New Year's resolutions, and how rigid are we in even making these? And first, I want to address the tattoo question. I won't get a tattoo. And the reason I'm not getting tattoos is because I'm too flabby now. I have a little bit of a dad bod. I'm skinny. Sure, I can hide it in a large shirt, but I don't have 6-pack. I'm pretty soft around the midsection. My pectoral muscles are getting droopy. I have not been working out. And unless I'm totally shredded, I'm not getting a tattoo. I'm not getting a tattoo.
Just get a face tattoo. You don't have to work out your face.
You should work out your face. Haven't you seen those Jazzercise things? Like, I have one of those in my shower that I put in my mouth when I shower.
Shut up. I've never even heard of this thing.
Yes, it's the only place that I'm going to do it consistently.
I've never thought you're going to do it in the shower. It's like the most intimate. You're totally naked and you're just in there going,
yeah, because it's the only place I could do it regularly. Everywhere else didn't make sense. Plus, you drool a little bit when you smash on those things. So it's like the shower, you can drool and wipe it off and stuff. It hasn't made a difference for me.
Explain to William what this is.
Yeah, so now I'm finding out I got to work out my face too.
Yes,
it's hard enough to work out anything else.
Supposed to create like a better jawline and stuff. So there's these rubber ball things. I think they are called like Jazzercise. And you put it, there's a line in them for your teeth to fit your upper and down. And you just like flex, bop, up and down. And
almost like, do you remember the things that you could do for your hands? Like to increase your grip
the
or your
rings.
forearm? It's that, but it's for your mouth.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was that like a real need, or was that just some people working at a devices company? Like, we need a new product.
Yeah.
Like, what else could people possibly work out? I mean, when there's have their pencil in their mouth, they're like, if only there was something. And then boom.
That's how it happened.
Jazzercise.
You can buy also like really like hard to chew gum for that same purpose.
It sounds even worse.
Right?
But
The
that, like,
things that we do.
We've got a shipment of gum from last year. We didn't sell it. Let's sell it as hard gum. It's good for your jaw. It's good for your jaw. Sell it as hard gum.
That's exactly what I think it is, William. That's exactly what I think it is. Well, there's a whole thing because I guess it makes your jaw like more modelly, right? Because more chiseled, like more.
I mean, it hasn't done shit to my jaw.
You have a good jawline.
I have a fine jawline, but I don't think it's improved.
Jaws or size. I just thought it was genes.
I haven't been doing it for years. I've been doing it for a little while, but it is genes. Like these cheekbones, you don't get these cheekbones unless you have either elective surgery or are born with them.
Yeah.
So,
or unelective.
Someone
thrusts it upon you.
I guess
you need better cheekbones. Come with me.
You're just out on a blind date, knocked out, wake up in the bathtub with brand new cheekbones. Is that a thing that happens, Bradley?
Ice with brand new cheekbones.
Okay. So New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
Do we do them? What are yours? And has this approach to a new year changed as you've gotten older and wiser? William.
I go back and forth for it like every year. Like I'm still not 100% convinced that they are important or help. I've had them where they bum me out a month later where I didn't do them. But I've also had a lot of them where I write them down and then kind of forget about them and then look back later and I actually did them. Sometimes even years later, because usually I'll like spend so much time doing it at the beginning of the year and then tend to forget about it. So I think that for everybody listening, I think that you should do them, but I think you should make them super simple and easy and about like things that would make your life better. So instead of making like, oh, I'm going to work out 3 times a week this year, make it like I'm going to go on a sweet vacation with my family or something like that. That's not as rigid and not as like, I don't know, that brings joy instead of just like something else on your plate, basically.
Okay.
So I don't know. That's my thoughts.
Do you have something lined up for this year? Like something not rigid?
That's what I did is take Rowan snorkeling somewhere tropical.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't put the location just because who knows, you know, we might be going to Aruba in August. We are probably going to Cancun in November, but still just somewhere tropical.
Yeah.
And then I did, what else was it? This one's, I mean, it's rigid, it's hard, but it's safe enough for a down payment for a house since I'm living in an apartment now.
Okay.
And my third one was not that important, apparently.
You should have put get a truck because you did that.
Wow. Right.
That was last year.
Yeah. Oh, that was last year. That was the end of year savings and taxes. Smart.
And then the last one is just doing a certain number of photo shoots, like model photo shoots, because I really enjoyed them last year and I want to just do more of them this year. So,
and those
somewhat easy and
those you just schedule on your own and then you try to reap the rewards after you do the photo shoots, or are you?
It's like half and half or something. You know? Some of them are through clients shooting specific things. Okay. Actually, I mean, that's most of them. That's probably 80%. So I'm trying to do more of those elective photo shoots for fun, for creating art. So that's one of my goals.
Hear me out. We meet somewhere tropical. You take Rowan snorkeling. I can take my girls snorkeling. And then you can also take pictures of us snorkeling.
The self-admitted
knock them all out at
white
once.
Dude,
knock it all in.
Underwater with a hat on, maybe.
I don't.
I mean, imagine his hair just like with the gentle current and just like
flowing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right, I'm down. Let's do it.
Okay.
That's epic.
And my girls are avid snorkelers. Both of them enjoy a good snorkel with some wildlife. So
come to Aruba in August.
Okay. Never been to Aruba. Maybe I will. Okay. And do you feel like, are you excited about these like prospects? Are you like,
I wasn't going to make them at all.
Through?
I wasn't going to make any resolutions at all because of what I was talking about earlier, like putting more pressure on myself. I've got so much things going on already.
Mm-hmm.
But then 5 minutes ago, we were about to do this podcast and I was like, Tyson's going to ask what my New Year's resolutions are.
Yeah.
So I guess
you knew it was going to be me. You knew it was coming from me.
Well, I mean, we all probably had the same question. That's the question I was going to ask too. Let's be honest. Like,
yeah.
So really, there are things that I was going to do anyway that have been percolating around. I wasn't going to do resolutions this year because of how much I got on my plate and I just didn't want to. And so, yeah, but they're good because those are ones that I made last year. Like last year I said, take go to Bonaire with Rowan and I did it. And it's like, you do it, you knock it off your list, and it's great. Instead
Yeah.
of something that you look back on like, I only worked out once a week, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. But in the past, I've definitely been a big resolution maker, like
Okay.
hardcore, making like 10 of them, you know, doing it for a month, maybe a week to a month. And then getting done with
and then being sad
inspiration
the
and
rest of the
motivation.
months.
Yeah, then being sad the rest of the year. So
That should be one of your resolutions, to be sad. You could check that one off.
that's actually really smart.
Yeah.
Put that one on there.
Genius.
Yeah, just to be sad for the last 11 months of the year.
So far, it's going great.
I'm just building up to the sadness as I've overstocked my plate with resolutions.
Yeah.
Bradley, how about you? And well, first, William, has that changed over the years? Like, did you used to be very rigid on these all the time because that was like a thing, or has your approach changed at all?
My approach has definitely changed. It's definitely become more, it's all about doing something that's going to be good for you. And if I make them too rigid and I fall through with them, it doesn't end up being good for me.
Yeah.
And just as a person, I have a tendency to go in really hard on stuff and then lose interest. So, I mean, now that it's kind of learning more about myself too. It's like, if I understand that, then I understand that making 10 resolutions is not productive. Whereas making a few resolutions that I am almost guaranteed to follow through with and that bring something to my life, like that's a good way to do it.
I like
Okay.
that. I like that. I think that's good advice. I like that.
Yeah. Bradley?
Man, I go back and forth on this, honestly. When I was younger, I think we talked about this. Like, as I've gotten older, I think I value different things, in different aspects to myself. I used to just be all hustle, stay up as late as I could, get up as early as I could, get as much done as I could, go. And there is value to that for a season, but a lot of my resolutions, I've always enjoyed working out, whether it's running or weights or, playing basketball twice a week or whatever the thing is. I've always enjoyed that. So that hasn't been one of those like, oh, I got to make sure I get to the gym. Like that has never really been a resolution because that's just a bit of what makes me, like keeps me like the happiest is just being kind of consistent with that. So
yeah,
thankfully that hasn't been something that I've ever had to like, got to drop 30 pounds or whatever. I think for me, it was very work related, especially in LA. I remember specifically, when I first moved there, I was like, get out of my way. I'm here to work. Like I'm 26. I got nothing on. I'm not dating anybody. My jobs are crap because I'm going to focus all on acting. So, a couple of those things were like, take 3 casting director workshops a month, do stand up 5 times a month, like spend 3 hours a week memorizing casting director names. Like it was just like all the things that were all 100% career. There wasn't any social element to it. There wasn't any, take a trip and go with my friends to, the beach. Mostly I didn't really have the income for that, but I'm in California. You can make it happen. So those were helpful from the standpoint of like, what is it? Shoot for the stars and you'll end up on the moon. Kind of the idea that like, okay, maybe I'm not going to accomplish all that, but I'll accomplish none of it if I don't set my standards really high. Otherwise it'll be like, oh, just like I did like 1 casting director work. That's probably enough. That counts. But if I hold myself to 5 and I get 3, then that's better than if I had just kind of been lazy about it. So that was like kind of my approach to setting it high.
And do you feel successful after that? Like, because William just talked about like not hitting stuff and then feeling like a failure for 11 months. Is that how do you like you understand that you're setting high, and if you get any, then that's a positive.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I never held myself to the idea of like, well, I failed January, I guess let's try February. It was kind of like, I really didn't do as well as I wanted to there. Let's try to do this. But I also think that those were more like, to me, the idea of a resolution is like a binary, you did it or you didn't. It's A or it's B type of like thing. I think for me, mine was more like goals. It was
intentions.
More like, yeah, kind of intentions. Like it was
goals.
like, right. So it's like that led me to not feel like, well, I guess I got to wait till 2026, try again.
And I think that's Yeah, that's a great point. That's kind of what I was looking at it too. Like, oh, I don't really want to do resolutions this year because it's, I don't know. I haven't
They
had a great
sound
experience
resolute.
with them in the past.
They sound final.
Yeah,
It's done.
But
It's,
goals is goals.
yeah. Like for me, it's like, okay, we were talking in the car. I was like, okay, this is like classic dad moment. On the way back from my parents, I was like, all right, guys, when we get in the car, we're going to talk about what do we want to do in 2025. No, nothing is too crazy, right? Just throw it all out there. So Loic wants to go to New York again, and he wants to fly on a plane. Ellis had some wild
Sounds
stuff.
like his goals are expensive for you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm like, okay, maybe we do a trip.
Maybe some more personal goals, buddy.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. One of my goals is to stay fiscally stable. So
oh no,
that's
those are
cancel
contrast,
out your
yeah.
goal, Loic. Sorry about that one. So just like what does that look like? What do we want to do? And for me, it was like, okay, I want to go out of the country. I want to use my passport, get it stamped. I don't care where.
There you go.
I want to get Aruba in August or so. Would love to get to. There's lots of places I'd love to go again. But yeah, that was like, all right, I want to get that on there somewhere. And I'm not a big.
Was that one for last year? Because you did that with me and Tyson.
I did last year. Yeah,
got that thing stamped. You're going to do 2 years in a row of a stamp.
Actually, I don't think I got stamped when I went to Canada. They just kind of looked at it. I was kind of bummed about that.
You can ask them for a stamp, but it pisses everyone in line off.
Why? Because it's a whole nother step.
Yeah, because they're like, you're going through customs. Everyone's waiting in line to get through.
Yeah.
You go to the agent, show them your passport. They give you the thumbs up. You're like, actually, could you stamp it? And they're like, we don't even have a stamp here. I got to go get one. And you're like, that's fine. And meanwhile, everybody in line's like there. So he leaves. He runs to find a stamp, asking all the other agents if they've got a stamp.
Yeah, do you have a stamp?
Brings one back, and everyone's fuming in line because it took 3 minutes.
Ka-chunk. That's all I'm looking for.
And I've been behind a person like that once. We're in the line right behind them. And I said, oh, great, one of these people. And they waited for me after I got through customs and let me have it.
What did they say?
They were just like, you're the one that ruins travel for everybody. Like, this is a once in a lifetime thing for me. And I was like, well, you were pretty selfish with everyone else's time in line behind you. I'm just saying we're in a society here. If it makes sense to do it and you're not costing everybody else like some time, then great. But like if you're costing people time, maybe go to the back of the line and wait until there's not a line behind you. Like, I don't know. And then we parted, and I think both of us felt like the other one was an asshole. I didn't feel terrible.
This is
I was just like, they're still
bad
wrong.
about the whole thing
on Survivor. You're saying the thing that people are thinking, and then you'll back it up. Like, you don't back down from, you make the snide comment, and then you're not like, what are you talking about? Or like, oh, sorry. I was just like, whatever. You're like, oh, no, this is the opening to an actual conversation regarding your politeness or lack thereof. Let's have a seat and begin.
Yeah. But they didn't get it. Doesn't change anybody's life.
No, you're not changing minds. Not
Tyson's all about the greater good, So
yeah, for him,
that person was trying to have individual happiness, and he was like, no. Think about society. Think
Kantian
about
ethics.
I do. It is one of my pet peeves when people are burning, especially strangers' time around them. Like that is, I am very, very efficient moving through society. Very efficient.
I like that.
I'm so efficient. Like I've got, as we're going through security in the airport, I have my wallet, my phone, my keys, everything already in my bag, in my carry-on bag. I don't have to remove anything from my pockets. The only thing I have to do is throw my bag on the belt and take my shoes off. Shoes are already untied. They're going to stay untied the whole time. I roll with them untied most of the time anyway, so that's not a thing. But like, and anybody who does not follow that protocol
is wasting
people's time.
Including yours.
Yes. And if they waste enough time, I will ask them if it's their first time ever traveling on an airplane. I will move around them. Or I will move around them in the TSA line.
Yeah.
And they'll take a double take, and I'll be like, you left a big gap on the conveyor. Like, that's free for the taking.
Okay, so then do you have all the TSA pre-check clear?
No.
Not even everybody's got pre-check, right?
No.
Dude, it would change.
I paid for it, and I wouldn't go. I paid for it, but I didn't go to the meeting to get it.
Oh,
So I paid for it, booked a
Global
meeting.
entry.
Silly.
Yeah.
With the
And then
TSA
I
break.
just,
Oh.
it was just like such a pain in the butt to like, it's like, this was like years ago when it was like, you got to book your appointment 9 months in advance.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know what
yeah.
I'm doing then.
Yeah.
And so I never really strived to get it. I moved
Could
through
be a
lines
good
pretty efficient.
resolution.
I'm
Could
just
be.
saying that is a great,
Doable.
very doable and very rewarding. When you go
Enhances
through
your
Clear
life.
and you just basically like,
I don't
walk
think it does
through.
as much as as it used to. Like I love going,
Yeah.
showing up, and you're like, oh, look at the TSA line's way longer than the regular line.
Yeah, that's
this
true.
is hilarious.
Everybody's in TSA pre now. That's why you
Yeah.
got to go clear.
I tried Clear once, and they were like,
No.
sign up now and
I did
use it
too.
today. And so I went in and signed up, and they were like, now you have to go to our headquarters in Siberia and get your eye scanned
Dang
before
it.
you can use it. Go to the regular line now. And you're like, oh, you guys
What?
fucking tricked me.
No
You
way. They
tricked
did
me.
that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I got guest
Siberia
passes if
wasn't
you
the
need
real
them.
thing, but they were just like, it won't work today. And it's like, you told me if I signed up right here and now
This took
that I would be
longer.
able to get through.
Now I have to get back in the
Now
other
I-
line.
Yes, exactly. And I was fuming, and now
What
I
a terrible
refuse,
customer relationship that is.
refuse to use Clear for
Yeah.
anything.
I
Don't
feel
use
it.
Clear, everyone. Unless they want to sponsor the pod, then Clear is the only
Is the
way.
clear choice when going through the airport.
Yeah,
Also available at 82 other places.
exactly. And stadiums and stuff, probably.
That's right. It is stadiums and concerts.
Yeah. New
Yeah.
Year's.
So for me,
resolutions.
it's like it's never really depressing per se.
Mhm.
But I think they've definitely changed. Like I've learned that there's only so much I can do in terms of like my career, like to move it forward. I'm already like basically
you're
doing
not solely reliant on yourself and your performance and stuff to move
Exactly.
like that. And that's like, I agree with that. Like having to rely on other people to achieve your goals doesn't
work.
you can't set a goal specifically because you have to rely on corporation to give you a job. You have to rely on somebody to give you a bump somewhere here or there. And that's out of your control.
So it doesn't make sense for me to try to set a goal of like, I'm going to make this much money this year, or I'm going to have this many clients or whatever without it being like, okay, maybe that'll help me hustle. Maybe it's basically 2 cold calls per month or something. I don't know. Like maybe there's something in there that's like, all right, maybe I'm resting on my laurels. So maybe I could push forward with something, especially because as we all very clearly know, you don't know when that client's going away. So having something else on the back burner, probably a good idea, even if it's just an introduction or something. So maybe there's something like that. But for me, it's really experience based. And I think as I've gotten older, I think that's become more common in like the idea of gifting and stuff, holiday gifting, Christmas gifts, whatever. It's like, I don't really need anything. I would love to go do something. I would love to go like a shared experience or, those types of things. So I think for me, like the travel thing, I've always loved to travel. My family's pretty good with it. My son is getting better at it. Just in terms of his element of autism, like his specific, vertical within the spectrum, if you will, is very social anxiety. So, that doesn't bode well for like hopping on a crowded plane and going into Chelsea Market in New York or something like that.
Yeah.
Without him having kind of a meltdown or like, being
Waiting extra long
dysregulated.
in TSA lines so people can get stamps
Yeah. Imagine that.
Without pre-check.
without
Without
pre-check.
It's the man in the hat, officer. The man in the hat. The
Okay.
cowboy hat with the fabric in the front. Yes. He looks like he's just come from somewhere sad.
Yeah. Really has.
Yeah. So my resolutions are loose. They're not like crazy big stuff. I think this past year when I look back on it, I'm going to do like a photo post probably just because for my own sake, I like to look back and be like,
I know, me
forgot
too.
that I did that. I totally forgot that.
I love looking back.
Yeah. And William, you did like video post already, right? For 24.
I've got like 10 more that I could do because I did
Yeah.
one from each trip.
Oh yeah.
I did like a recap from each trip plus like a
Just
couple combos.
Slam them out there, bro.
Yeah,
Put
man.
them all
Get 'em
up.
Fixing
out there.
to 'em.
People need
Okay.
to know.
Fixing to them.
But I like that because it's like a reminder of kind of what I've done and where I've come from. So that's actually something I like to look back on. I had a point to why I was wanting to do a look back, but I can't remember what it was. So maybe it'll
Well,
come to me
it's
later.
also so easy to forget everything. And,
Yeah.
I had a really challenging year. But then at the end of the year, even though it felt really challenging during it, it's like, damn, I did a lot of sweet stuff. And
Yep.
like, there was a lot of happiness involved in the year, even though a lot of it felt really not happy, a little sad. there was good moments, and like I move on from stuff so fast. It's really good to take a second and look back and smell the roses and be like, oh, damn, like this was pretty good for me.
I think there's a lot of value in that. Maybe even more so than setting resolutions. The idea of like looking back. I sometimes I'll sit down and just like flip through my camera roll, like a quick scroll and be like, oh yeah, we went here, we did this.
It ain't so bad.
Yeah, it's pretty helpful.
Yeah.
And with goals too, like different from resolutions, helpful to look back on last year's goals and see what happened and incorporate that. It's really just like taking recap of everything is really, life just moves so fast, and you can move on from stuff without getting all the lessons out of it and everything else.
That is a goal. First quarter of the year, Q1, I'm getting a tattoo.
Ooh.
I'm not exactly sure what. It
a soccer ball?
A marlin. I'm thinking maybe a marlin.
A marlin?
That's what William got.
I know.
I got a orca yesterday.
Wow. A brand new tattoo?
Just yesterday?
They're temporary.
Oh. Okay.
Rowan did a shell right here, like a little teardrop.
Nice. Yeah. Face one.
Teardrop.
Yeah.
Right. For all the animals you shot.
Yeah. For all the fallen sea life. Yeah, okay. I thought that was real, that orca one on your hand at first. I was like, oh, he's getting bold now.
Yeah.
Nowhere to hide.
It wouldn't surprise me, though. Remember when we were talking
It'll probably happen.
Are there things that you want to do that you haven't, when you were younger? And William's like, well, last night I was in Shaolin karate for the first time. And we were like, wait, really? And you're like, yeah that's right. So wouldn't be surprising.
Okay. So you have no idea what kind of tattoo you want.
I found an artist that I like. And now I'm going to kind of peruse some of that. I'm looking for inspiration. So we'll see.
I love the ones with the shadows underneath them, like the sea life with the shadow, like a shark swimming along the bottom of the ocean. You see the shadow of the shark on those look cool to me. It's like a floating tattoo kind of.
I always like funny.
You like funny, like a monkey's butthole around your
cartoon,
like a monkey's butthole around your belly button.
Yes, exactly like that. That would be amazing if Bradley got that. Please get that.
Could you imagine? Like, hey, honey, I know we were thinking about getting that really cool design that I was showing you, where it's like the worlds are coming together in unity, but I got a good deal on this one.
They're doing it for free.
That would really adjust my midlife crises going. I'd bring a whole new level of controversy coming to you live from the doghouse.
I don't want to speak for William, but I'm willing to pay for that tattoo for you. William, you willing to go 50-50?
Yeah, we go Hess. Yep.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Hilarious. But then actually Tyson doesn't come through, so I only have half.
You only have half a monkey
William
on the
half.
butthole.
I think that tattoo would absolutely turn your life around, man.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Just the limitless possibilities from it. Like
so much content. Like you would never bore of content. You'd be like the guy with the monkey butthole around this belly button tattoo. You're just always with your shirt off, just like at church, popping your buttons to show off that like there you could do it
crop top.
Yeah, everywhere, all the time. You really would become famous. Like you'd be social media famous.
The best possible thing.
That might be worth it, guys. Now you're tempting me.
So I'm just saying.
If it's a choice between like a tribal band and a monkey butthole tattoo, please go with the monkey butthole.
I'm not a tribal band kind of guy. That is more conversational.
Yeah.
So what'd you do? Got a tattoo. Can I see it? I don't know.
Are you going for your own design? Like change it, like go in, you're going to choose something that out of a catalog. Yeah. Cause I saw a manager at a restaurant that we frequent who had the exact tattoo of Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine. It was a full blacked out, like quarter sleeve.
Okay.
And then 2 solid bands around her forearm or something. I was like, big Rage Against the Machine fan, or maybe she doesn't know. I don't know. But I was like, I think that is Rage Against the Machine identical tattoo. So
yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not cool enough or have the pain tolerance to do like a sleeve.
But you don't mind bumping into somebody and be like, Carl did your tattoo? And you're like, yep. And you're like, they're identical. We have the same tattoo.
There's this guy I found. Yeah, maybe I should adjust it a little now that you're saying that. So there's a little change, kind of like if you see someone with the same sunset, but you're like, but like, I got the yellow New Era,
or I got the sticker, or I left
sticker
the
is still
stickers
on the 47.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I should consider that.
Yeah.
I'll come back with some options at some point.
Good idea.
And I'll show you guys some options.
And how about this? And I've got it.
Okay.
A tattoo of something that has a belly button, and then around that belly button, there's a teeny tiny little monkey's butthole tattoo on the tattoo that you have.
A tattoo of a tattoo?
Yes.
That's deep.
Okay.
That's some deep stuff right there. I
Just
don't know
think
if I can
about
aspire
it. Just think
to that.
about it. New Year's resolutions for me have always been maybe some would say too confident. Like they don't understand. So I always
You're
have
already
just
there.
been like,
you're the peak of the mountain.
I've been like, I've already kind of done the stuff that I've done and like whatever and
Right.
like all this stuff. But I do set sometimes looser goals. And this year I have a couple loose ones. And whether or not I accomplish them, it doesn't even like, because they're things I tell myself all the time. One, disconnect more from my phone and social media a little bit in general.
Yeah.
So I did buy a dumb phone. I have it on pre-order, a Light Phone 3.
Nice.
Cool.
Coming in a month or two. And when it does, then we'll see how that works. If I can run my social media from home or my office only, and while I'm out and about, just live in the present. And then number 2 is just to be in a little bit better shape. Like all I do for a workout now is pickleball mostly. It would be nice to hit some weights. It would be nice to maybe do some running or some bike riding again.
Yeah.
But also like if I get out there, I'm like, this sucks. Then I might revert to like, who cares? And like on the top of, or on the back of my mind all the time is like, get in a little bit better shape. You have time. Why don't you do it? And part of it is I'm
better to do it
spending
now as
way
we get
too much
older.
time on my phone.
Totally.
So it's like, if I can
Oh.
put my phone down and go out more, then maybe there's something there. But I've been telling myself to get in a little bit better shape for years, and it hasn't bothered me that I haven't. But if I do, maybe I will also get that monkey butthole tattoo that you were talking about earlier, Bradley.
Once you get in ripped shape.
Yes. If I get a 6-pack and I can show off the monkey tattoo, then it might be worth, actually getting.
I think the digital thing is something that a lot of people are fighting with. I think whether it's with their
Definitely.
kids or with themselves. And I think there's so many different ways to attack it. I like your approach. I've also seen people like schedule it. But to me, it's like, if you're already disciplined enough to follow a schedule, you probably don't need help being disciplined enough to not be on it. So that seems like kind of self-defeating.
Yeah.
But I've done a thing where on Sundays, I go screen free from 9 to 4.
Okay.
So
cool.
nothing. And I've found myself walking around. I've found myself bored. I've found myself, coming up with things to do with my kids because they're bored. Because I try to institute it across the board.
Yeah.
On Sundays is just like a day to reset, relax, get ready. We got Monday coming up. And it's really led to some fun moments. So I think along those lines, now that we're talking about this, I think maybe I'll double down on that and maybe try to find a way to apply that to myself. It's hard when you're in social media and you're creating content and you're looking for the new trends and that type of thing. But there's got to be a way, because we were just talking about this too. Like, there's got to be a better way for us than to be spending, hours on end. It's kind of almost like snacking. It's like, let's eat 3 meals instead of snack throughout the day in terms of digital, because then you're not really around. And I tried to be like, if I'm out with my kids, I'm not even on my phone at all. If someone calls me, it just goes to voicemail. I'm not texting. Maybe I'll take a picture or something, but I'm definitely not on social and all that. And I kind of got lax on that, because then I'm like, well, I'm kind of bored and they're playing and I'm just sitting here. And we don't know tomorrow. You only have tonight. You only have today. So it's a good call.
Yep, I totally agree. And I work in social media too. So I am so sick of it though. Like, I am so over
Having
social
your eyes
media in
glued to your
general.
screen.
I'm so over like all the negativity on some of it. I'm over just like, it's just like not being intentional. It's like they're telling me what to think instead of, you know what I mean? Just random stuff coming into my feed. Like, I'm super sick of it. And I guess what we're talking about is kind of like intentions. And I guess I've got a lot of like intentions that are like kind of what you're saying, being off social media less. And I think that for me, one of those is just like living more by my values instead of by just what I've always done. So like what I've always done is just waste time on feeds and scrolling through social media.
Yeah.
But like, I know that is in contrast with my values as a person. So I'm trying to just make more decisions based on those values instead of just based on like reverting to old ways. And social media is a good example because I know it's destructive. Like it takes me away from the stuff that I do want to pay attention to. And hopefully I'll be able to do that.
Yeah. I've actively left my phone behind or wrestled with leaving it in my pocket for extended periods of time. No notifications or anything, just like those moments where there's some downtime. You pull it out and look at the screen and you're like, oh, that's my safe zone when there's nothing to do. And it's like, I don't need that. So I've already made the effort to not buy any new smartphones. My phone is going on 3 years old, and I have no interest in upgrading it or doing that. So I need a smartphone for some stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have it just connected to Wi-Fi at my house while I use my dumb phone for out and about, which the dumb phone has maps, has texting, calling, and I think maybe it has something else on it.
Camera?
But it has a camera, has a nice-ish camera. I don't
Yeah,
think
the light one. It's not as dumb as like our old Razor flip phones. Right. There's a little more usage to it because you have, like you said, maps, GPS.
There's maps, there's GPS, but there's no email on it. There's no anything like that. And so it's like when I'm out and about, I can, do that as much as possible.
Cool.
So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, what's our takeaway today? Has this conversation changed your approach to the new year in any capacity?
Well, for me, the takeaway for you, I think for you guys, the takeaway is make resolutions that excite you, that you do for yourself, and know that it's okay if you don't follow through on them. But if you have had a history of doing that and not following through on them, consider not making them all, or consider making super easy ones that you'll be able to do. Excuse me.
Yeah,
I think it's my takeaway is don't let your friends tell you what kind of tattoo to get. I think would probably be.
What are you saying?
Not you guys. No, just me
other
in general.
guys.
Yes.
Other guys. Yeah. Okay.
I would say my challenge is to look backwards. Take some time to look over 24. Look at your photos or whatever it does. Journal entries, whatever it is for you. Take some time. Make some time to do that. I'm gonna do that. That's my takeaway.
Yeah. And I think like resolutions aren't just for the new year. Like if you notice something that you want to get better at, and make it general, and also don't have it be reliant on other people. Make sure that you're not like, oh, I did everything on my end, but I still didn't hit it because the thing didn't fall into my lap after. So like, make sure it's stuff that you can control and do yourself. And don't be hard on yourself. Like it's, whatever. Like
life is hard enough without that.
Yeah, you can make.
That's
New Year's
something we learn in our
resolutions
midlife. I think that's something that we can learn is like going easier on ourselves. As I get older, I find that that's pretty important. I used to be so pissed if I wasn't number one at like all the things, and like I was a baseball catcher, and if I tried to get a guy out at second and I missed, or it was a late throw or whatever, I punched the ground because it's like, oh, like I should have done that. I should have been the best. But going easier on yourself, I think that's a good call. As I get older, it's like, you know what? That's a better way to live anyway, and a great example to your kids if you have kids of like how to kind of self-care.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's good. Good note.
Straight up.
Wow. Okay. I agree. I think, don't be hard on yourself. And also like something that always gets me through is I could be number one if I wanted to. If I wanted to really set myself to it. So like, what's the pressure to be number one when I know I could?
Yeah.
So
that's good.
That's it. I don't have anything else for us. And thank you all for tuning in. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on all your different podcast apps. Please leave us a rating. It's the least you can do for this free content. And it boosts us everywhere. Much love. Good luck in the new year. Until next week. See ya.
Peace.
All right. All done.
My watch is telling me I got to move.
What are your resolutions?
Whose?
The audience's.
Yeah, let us know your resolutions, I guess. Put them in the comments. That'd be good.
Put them in the comments. Let us know your resolutions. Okay, I'm going to shut this down. We ready to shut down?
I think we're ready to shut down.